It was 2 weeks later. Gail was working in the office in the casualty department. The telephone rang. Gail picked it up. "Casualty," she said.
Hello, this is Dr. Casey. Could I speak to Dr. Kennedy, please?
"Just a minute," said Gail. She went and got Dr. Kennedy. He picked up the phone. Gail sat down again. "Kennedy here." "Oh, hello, Josephine." "What?" "But they can't." "They have?" "When?" "No." "And where are they taking him?" "Why can't they tell you?" "That's terrible." Yes. See you later." He put the phone down. He was very angry. Gail could see that. She waited. "That was Dr. Casey," he said. "Mr. Tucker has taken Alex Hale from the hospital." "But he's in a coma," said Gail. "Yes. They took him in a private ambulance. They're going to a private hospital. Dr. Casey is very angry." Gail often thought about Alex. One evening, a few months later, she was watching television in the nurse's home. It was a rock music program. And now we've got the new record from Alex Hale. It's Saturday night, and here is Alex. He's going to sing it for us. Alex had a car crash a few months ago, and he's had plastic surgery. So it's a new face for a new face. You remember, Alex was in the group New Face 2 years ago. And here he is, Alex Hale. When Penny came in that evening, Gail spoke to her about Alex. Penny knew all about it. "It was in the newspaper," she said. "They took Alex to Switzerland. He had plastic surgery from a specialist in Geneva." "But he broke his back. You know that, Penny. You saw him." "Well, he's all right now," said Penny. "I've seen him on television. He was dancing."
Five. An old friend.
The next Saturday, Gail was shopping in Midhurst. She was looking for some new trousers. She went into a clothes shop in the high street and looked at some pairs of jeans. £55. Everything was expensive. She stopped and listened to the music in the shop. Saturday night. They were playing the record in all the other clothes shops that afternoon too. It's going to be a big hit. Maybe #1, thought Gail. "Gail! Hi! I haven't seen you for years." Gail looked round. "Diane!" she said. "How are you?" Diane Partridge was an old friend. They were student nurses together 5 years before. "I'm fine," said Diane. "Come and have a coffee. I want to hear all your news." They went to a cafe and got 2 coffees. Gail opened her handbag. No, said Diane. I'll pay. Really? They sat down at a table. Diane had 3 or 4 shopping bags. She put them under the table. New clothes, she said. What are you doing now? Asked Gail. I'm working at a small private hospital. It's near Frampton. It's a wonderful job. The hospital's very expensive, and they pay me very well. They talked for half an hour. Diane was telling Gail about her job. I like the job, but it's very sad sometimes, she said. I'm looking after a young man. He had a terrible car crash a few months ago. He broke his back. He was in a coma for 3 months. Gail sat forward. He isn't in a coma now? No, said Diane. He woke up 2 weeks ago. It's very sad. There's something wrong with him. You know, he thinks he's that rock star. The famous one. What's his name? Alex Hale? Said Gail quietly. That's right. Alex. But how did you know? Oh, nothing, said Gail. What's the man's name? Richard Tucker. He can't have any visitors either. His brother's a terrible man. He said... His brother? Yes. He's a friend of Dr. Green. Dr. Green is the head of the hospital. Anyway, he doesn't want any visitors. Poor Richard. He cut his face badly in the car crash, you know. He looks terrible. But he's a nice man. Gail thought for a moment. Diane, she said. I'm looking for a new job. Does your hospital need any new nurses? Yes, said Diane. We always need good nurses. Why are you... Can I come and see the hospital? Said Gail. All right, said Diane. Come tomorrow. It's Sunday. Dr. Green isn't there on Sundays. You can have a look at the hospital. Then maybe you can write to him about a job. Thanks, said Gail. See you tomorrow. Gail stopped the car and looked at the map. Yes, this was the road. But where was the hospital? It was somewhere near here. There were tall trees on both sides of the road, and there were no houses. She looked at the map again. There was no hospital sign on the road. She started the car and drove slowly along the road. Then she saw a small road on the left. There was a sign on the corner. It was very small. Chamford Private Hospital. Gail turned left and drove along the small road for nearly a mile. Then she could see the hospital. It was a beautiful old house with gardens in front of it. She drove into the car park and got out of her car. There were several other cars there. They were all expensive. A Rolls-Royce, 2 Mercedes, a Ferrari, and a Jaguar. She looked back at her old Mini and smiled. It looked very funny in the middle of all those big cars. Diane was waiting for her near the door. "You're late," she said. "Yes, sorry," said Gail. "I couldn't find it." "I like your uniform." Said Diane. "The uniforms are beautiful. They're very expensive, you know." "Maybe it was my map. I can't draw maps very well." "I needed the map," said Gail. "It's a long way from the village." "Yes, it's very quiet here. Very quiet. This is the best time of the day for a visit. We always have visitors on Sunday afternoons." "But there are never any visitors for your young man with the cut face," said Gail. "What's his name?" "Richard Tucker," said Diane. "No, he never has visitors. I told you that yesterday. Come on, I'll show you the hospital." They walked round the hospital. Everything was new and very expensive. There were flowers everywhere. Where's Richard Tucker?" Gail asked suddenly. "Why?" said Diane. "Oh, I was thinking about him. Can I talk to him for a minute? He doesn't have any visitors. I think that's very sad. He must be very unhappy." Diane smiled. "All right. Dr. Green isn't here. Come on, he's upstairs." But just for a minute. The room was dark. Gail could see a man on the bed. She went to the light. She was going to turn it on. "No, don't turn on the light. Please." She walked over to the bed. She could see his face. It was terrible. "All right," she said. "Hello, Alex." "What did you say?" "Hello, Alex." "But the doctors call me Richard. That's not my name. I'm Alex Hale. You called me Alex." "Yes," said Gail. She looked at him again. Alex was crying. "Tell me I'm not crazy. Am I Alex Hale?" "Yes," she said. "You are." She sat on the bed and held his hand. "Why am I here? I can't move. It's my back. I broke my back. Nobody comes here. Why?" "Have you got any family?" she said. "Yes, I've got a sister in Australia, Catherine, but she hasn't been here." "She doesn't know," said Gail. "Tucker hasn't told her." "Tucker? Where's Tucker?" said Alex. "He can't come in here. He can't." "You're afraid of Tucker." Alex was crying again. "I'm a prisoner," he said. "Who are you? You're not with Tucker, are you?" "No, I'm not," said Gail. "You needn't worry. Do you want to get out of here? Really?" "Yes," replied Alex quietly. Gail smiled. "Don't worry," she said. "You're going to be out of here, and in a real hospital tomorrow." She walked to the door. "I'll see you tomorrow, Alex. Don't worry." Diane was waiting outside. "Poor Richard," she said. "He's crazy." "Yes, poor Richard," said Gail. "Oh, is there a telephone here? I want to call someone." "Yes," said Diane. "There's a phone over there." Gail walked to the phone and picked it up. She opened her handbag and took out a piece of paper. She read the number again. Then she pushed the buttons on the phone. That's it. It was ringing. A man answered the phone.
Hello? This is the Daily News.
"Hello," said Gail. "Can I speak to a reporter? I've got a story for you."